Can police force you to unlock your phone in Australia? Before we begin, this video is for educational purposes only and is not legal advice. If you need legal advice, consult a qualified Australian lawyer. Imagine this. You're walking through a shopping center on a normal Saturday afternoon. Your phone is in your pocket, nothing unusual. Then suddenly police approach you. Maybe they're investigating something. Maybe they're speaking to a group of people nearby. Maybe they've asked to speak with you directly. After a few questions, one officer points at your phone and says, "Unlock it." Just like that, no explanation, no warning, no long conversation, just 2 words, "Unlock it." What would you do? Would you hand it over immediately? Would you refuse? Would you ask if they have a warrant? Would you even know what your rights are? The reason this question matters is because your phone isn't just a phone anymore. Think about what's inside it. Years of text messages, private photos, emails, banking apps, social media accounts, personal conversations, location history, search history. For most people, a smartphone contains more information than their house. And that's exactly why so many Australians ask the same question. Can police actually force you to unlock your phone? The answer is more complicated than most people think. And some of the biggest mistakes people make happen because they believe things they've heard on social media that simply aren't true. Today we're going to break down some of the biggest myths, explain why phone searches are different from other searches, and discuss the situations that often create confusion. Because understanding the basics before you're ever in that situation is far better than trying to figure it out while you're standing in front of a police officer. I'm Alex Carter, and welcome to Law Explained AU. Let's get into it. The smartphone problem. 20 years ago, police searching somebody was very different. Maybe they'd find a wallet, maybe some keys, maybe a piece of paper with a phone number written on it. That was about it. Today, a single smartphone can contain thousands of photos, years of conversations, financial records, browsing history, and information about almost every part of a person's life. That's one reason phones have become such an important legal topic. They're not just another object. They're often a digital record of someone's entire life. And because of that, questions about phone access, privacy, and police powers have become more important than ever. A situation most people get wrong. Let's say a police officer asks, "Can we have a quick look at your phone?" Most people think there are only 2 possible answers, yes or no. But in reality, the situation can be far more complicated. Many people assume that if police ask, they must already have the authority. Others assume police can never access a phone without a warrant. Both assumptions can create problems. The truth is that every situation depends on the circumstances, the legal authority involved, and the specific facts at the time. That's why blanket statements like, "Police can never search your phone," or "Police can always search your phone," are usually unreliable. And yet, those are exactly the types of comments you see online every day. The social media myth. You've probably seen videos online where someone confidently says, "If police ask for your phone, just say no." Simple, short, easy to remember. The problem? Real life isn't always that simple. Legal situations are rarely explained accurately in a 15-second social media clip. What applies in one circumstance may not apply in another. What applies in one state may not apply somewhere else. And what applies to one investigation may not apply to another. That's why understanding the basics is so important. Not because you're planning to break the law, but because misinformation spreads incredibly fast online. The biggest mistake people make, surprisingly, the biggest mistake isn't unlocking the phone, and it isn't refusing. The biggest mistake is panicking. People do strange things when they're nervous. They start arguing, they become aggressive, they start recording themselves yelling, they make emotional decisions, and almost none of those reactions help. Imagine this. A person becomes angry. They're convinced their rights are being violated. They start shouting at officers. They stop listening. Now the entire situation has escalated. Even if they were correct about certain concerns, the way they handled the situation made everything worse. That's why one of the most important things you can remember is this. Stay calm, stay respectful, stay in control of your emotions. No matter what is happening. Why people are so protective of their phones? Let's be honest. Most people would rather hand over their wallet than their smartphone. Why? Because your phone knows almost everything about you. Who you talk to, where you go, what you search for, what photos you take, who you message, what videos you watch. For many people, a smartphone feels more personal than a diary. That's exactly why questions about phone access create such strong reactions. People aren't worried about the physical device, they're worried about the information inside it. And that's a completely understandable concern. So what should you do? If you're ever in a situation involving police and your phone, there are a few principles that can help. Stay calm, be respectful, avoid arguments, do not physically resist. Do not attempt to destroy information. Do not attempt to interfere with police carrying out their duties. And if you are unsure about your rights or obligations, seek professional legal advice as soon as possible. One thing many people fail to understand is that legal disputes are rarely solved on the side of the road. They're usually resolved later through proper legal processes. That's why remaining calm and thinking clearly is often one of the smartest decisions you can make. Final thoughts. Your smartphone contains some of the most personal information in your life. That's why questions about police access to phones continue to generate enormous debate across Australia and around the world. The most important thing to remember is that legal situations depend on specific facts and circumstances. Avoid relying on social media myths. Avoid relying on comment sections. And avoid assuming that one simple rule applies in every situation. Because when it comes to smartphones, privacy, and police powers, reality is usually far more complicated than people think. If you found this video helpful, subscribe to Law Explained AU and let me know in the comments. Do you think police should ever be able to force someone to unlock a phone? I'll see you in the next video.